This is Our News, the weekend edition. I'm Paige McCartney. Coming up in news, forecasters say it's highly probable Hurricane Irma will impact the Bahamas this week. With this in mind, the National Emergency Management Agency launches its National Alert System, and the Works and Education Ministers provide an update on the preparedness of schools for opening this week.
Our News is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome once again to Our News, the weekend edition. Forecasters are warning residents to brace for possible impact by Hurricane Irma. We're joined in studio with Deputy Director of the Department of Meteorology and Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean, who's here to give us a little bit more information on Irma and her track. Thanks so much for joining us, Basil.
Thank you, Paige. Right now we are enjoying pretty much summer-like type conditions here in the Bahamas. As a matter of fact, stretching all the way back to Puerto Rico. But that will all change in less than a week because we are monitoring this system here in the far eastern Atlantic. It carries the name of Irma, and as you can see, it has grown tremendously over the last several hours. It's a very broad system now, all moving toward the west-southwest at about 13 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds are just around 115 miles per hour, but there will be some fluctuation in the intensity over the next several days. So you will see it going up and down just around the Category 3, possibly even up to a Category 4 during the life of the system as it treks towards the west and in our general direction. So we're asking residents in the Bahamas to start preparation for the arrival of Irma. There are a couple of scenarios that can unfold as a result of this system. If it turns early, we should be okay. If it does not make that turn, then we just simply have to bunker down and ride out the storm. So right now you want to start making sure that all those pre-seasonal precautions would have been taken care of. If you haven't done so, we're asking you to do it now. Make sure that your seasonal precautions are in place because Irma is heading our way and it's not going to be too nice if it does make that direct impact on the Bahamas.
So Basil, it looks like it's got a possibility of moving over some landmass. Will that weaken the storm at all?
Certainly it would. If you look at the cone of uncertainty, you can see the southern portion of that cone moves over the island of Hispaniola, which is a mountainous island, and should it do that, that certainly will have an impact on the intensity of Irma. However, if it does not, it remains over the open waters of the Atlantic, it will maintain that intensity or even intensify as it gets closer to the Bahamas. So this is where we expect Irma to move, and if it follows that path, it should move very dangerously close to the Turks and Caicos Islands late Thursday night going into Friday morning, and just skirting the eastern coast of the Bahamas. But remember, the tropical storm force winds extend outward about 80 miles from the center, so we will still be within those tropical storm force winds. And however, the best scenario for us is if Irma were to shift more towards the north, that is hugging this portion of the cone and stay quite much out to sea, we will be pretty much in the clear. But it seems as though most of the computer models keeping it dangerously close to the Bahamas or even over the Bahamas moving into the middle and late part of next week.
Well, I think most Bahamians are hoping and praying that it stays along that eastern coast and bears more east.
We are all certainly hoping that it makes that early turn and stay more towards the north. Should that happen, then everything is fine. But it seems as though we are pretty much up for it. We're going to get some of it, so we need to start that preparation taking place now. And as far as our warning system goes, the protocols are such that once the system is about 60 hours, out from any of our islands, we will start issuing those alerts. And it seems as though from where we stand that could take place as early as late on Monday afternoon.
We know NEMA is scheduling a press conference on Monday. I believe members of cabinet will be there, so we'll hear more from government. But finally, before we wrap up with you, Basil, we're hoping for the best, but in the eventuality that things don't turn out the way most Bahamians are praying for, what are some things that we can start doing today, even tomorrow, to just prepare for this really strong, powerful storm?
Right now, you want to make sure that if you have leaks in your roof, you want to ensure that those are taken care of right now. We have enough time to do that. If you have issues with your windows that need to be repaired, you want to do that right now. If you don't have hurricane shutters, you want to ensure that you secure the necessary materials to secure your windows from flying debris. Additionally, if you have debris lying around your property, you want to ensure that those things are cleared away. If you can achieve those couple of things, keeping debris from around your property and ensuring that your windows are properly boarded up, chances are you're going to be pretty much safe going through the storm. So now is the time to ensure that those things are done.
Okay. Make sure we trim our trees and have our sandbags, everything ready in
All
case
of
it's a wet
those little
storm. Yeah.
pre-seasonal precautions that you should have done already. If you haven't, this is the time now to rush to complete those.
Thank you so much, Basil. Appreciate you coming and talking with us. Well, the National Emergency Management Agency wishes to advise the public that a testing of a multi-agency public notification system will commence on Tuesday. The initial test will involve the dissemination of a test alert by NEMA to all active cellular mobile subscribers in the Bahamas. Captain Stephen Russell, who's the director of NEMA, says this alerting system will add to already established protocols carried out before, during, and in the immediate aftermath of any disaster posing a threat to the country. Residents and visitors to the Bahamas are invited to register on the citizen portal at www.alertbahamas.com to receive further SMS and email notifications during the pilot period from NEMA, the Police, Bahamas Information Services, and the Bahamas Department of Meteorology. A maximum of 4,500 registrants can be accommodated on the citizen portal during the pilot period to receive alerts. However, during a hurricane or tropical storms, NEMA also has the ability to use the system to send a daily SMS alert to all active cellular subscribers in the affected areas, regardless of pre-registration. All SMS notifications received as a part of the pilot will be free of charge to customers of both BTC and Alive. And for more information, you can visit NEMA's Facebook page at NEMA Bahamas. Meantime, the government is sending emergency relief equipment to the southern Bahamas ahead of Irma's possible impact. The equipment is a gift from the United States through the United States Embassy in Nassau and the United States Northern Command. The items, which were delivered to the Bahamas via 8 40-foot containers, are equipped to recently constructed emergency relief warehouse in Matthewtown, Greater Nagua. The emergency relief warehouse, which was officially handed over to the Bahamas government on June 22nd this year, is also a gift from the government of the United States, constructed at a cost of $1.8 million. The equipment, valued at an estimated $600,000, include 5 kilowatt and 10 kilowatt generators, birthing kits, cots, water containers, fuel containers, blankets, toolbox and kits, power cords, pallet stackers, water purification tablets, radios and flashlights, shower shelter combo tents, right saws, circular saws, maintenance tools, blades, folding chairs and tables, water canteens, field toilets, portable flood lights, soap, toilet paper. And Captain Stephen Russell, who's the director of NEMA, confirmed that the equipment and supplies would be transported to a Nagua warehouse within the coming days via the HMBS Lawrence Major, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force on-roll vessel. And as the country today faces the threat of another major hurricane, the Office of the Prime Minister is advising the general public and all retailers and wholesalers of essential items, particularly breadbasket food items, medical and prescription drug supplies, as well as hurricane preparedness items such as plywood and nails, that price gouging and specifically the hoarding of items for speculation or profiteering, as well as the marking up of prices by retailers and wholesalers in the advent of potential natural disaster, are criminal offenses under the Price Control Act. The Prime Minister has instructed the Consumer Price Commission to commence a program of strict supervision, review, and monitoring of the prices being charged for the mentioned essential items starting immediately, and has urged the Commission to report any suspected violations to the Office of the Attorney General, which has, in consultation with the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Royal Bahamas Police Force, committed to aggressively investigate any information which might indicate price gouging. Well, in an earlier interview, Department of Meteorology Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean told us that a number of advancements in technology have been made at the Met Department, and he hopes this allows it to do to better prepare Bahamians for storms?
We are continuously upgrading both in terms of training our personnel with respect to equipment. Yes, we have installed a brand new Doppler weather radar at LPIH, and there are some 4 more Doppler weather radars that we expect to be installed over the next 18 months. In addition to the radar installation, we're also upgrading our observing platform. We will have some 9 to 10 automatic weather stations installed again over the 18-month period. That would increase the data that is needed to run these computer models platform for us.
Now, with Irma on a path similar to last year's Hurricane Matthew, Dean said to stock up on simple things now.
You want to stock up on non-perishable food items, particularly canned food, dry food, and the likes. Water is very essential for human existence, so you want to ensure that you have at least a gallon of water per day for each household member, because you don't know how long it may be before you're able to go on the outside. So you want to ensure that you have at least about a 3 to 4 day supply, and that is based on previous hurricanes that have impacted us.
And why the Minister of Work says there is no one but him to blame for the delay in some schools opening this week, that and more when Our News Weekend returns.